Welcome to Girls Who Talk Goals. I'm Christy.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Emily.
We are creating an empowering community where we inspire each other to step out of our comfort zones
and fill each other's cups one conversation at a time.
We're all just trying to figure out life, so let's go on this journey together.
Let's jump into today's episode.
Welcome back, everybody, and happy Monday. This week's mantra is interrupt anxiety with gratitude. The more you thank life, the more it gives you to be thankful for. So we wanted to recap on last week because we have so much to be thankful for after launching our podcast.
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody. It was an amazing week. We were really nervous and we were blown away by all of the comments and support we have.
All of the texts that we all received too. It was insane. Yeah. Like we knew we would probably have some support, from friends and family, but for people who are just in our community already.
And we haven't talked to in years.
Yeah.
Or whatnot, or we're not super, super close with. It was just an outpouring of support, and we are so grateful because it was really challenging and definitely nervous. You're putting yourself out there for judgment, so you never know how it's going to come across. And we know we have a lot of things to work on. We're working on our audio. We're working on our video quality. But those are things in progress. And we knew that if we didn't go ahead and just upload stuff, it'll never be perfect. And so we're just starting, and it's going to get better from here. And we're so proud of ourselves. And we're really grateful. So that's what this entire past week has been pretty much based on, is just gratefulness. So we thought it would be nice to do a whole video on just being grateful because that's what we've been feeling this week.
Right. Sometimes it's so hard to slow down and appreciate where you're at and, remind yourself that you have a lot to be grateful for. Don't you guys agree?
I agree.
And I feel like it isn't until moments like when we did launch that you are reminded so much of that gratefulness.
Yeah. You really don't notice it until you're put in a position where you're put in a position of fear or judgment or something happens to you. And then when something, big or a change happens, then you're like, wow, where did I come from? Or being grateful, or just moments like day-to-day life, you really don't think about it as much.
They say whenever you get sick, that's when you really are reminded of everything that you have to be grateful for. Fair. Because, whenever you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is so true. Do you guys practice gratefulness or gratitude in a day-to-day life? Or do you guys need a little?
I will go ahead and say that I genuinely don't. And I know people that have that crazy good morning routine where they work out and then they journal and then they say the things that they're thankful for, or they're talking about hey, this is my goal. I'm going to write it down every single day because that's what my focus is and I'm going to get there. But I am not one of those people. Although I admire it and would love to be on that page, I'm not. And I would love to start doing a better job of that. But it is hard to tell yourself to do that every day, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think I used to be really good about that. So when I worked at the hospital, I honestly hated my job. I was super unhappy, I think, in life in general. But back then is when I used to do the 5-minute journal. And every morning it has you write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when you're unhappy in a situation or just in life, you really start to think about the things that you are grateful for, or think about it on a larger scale. So every day I would write down I have a job. Am I happy with it? No, but I have a job. Therefore, I have an income. Therefore, X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. So I think it just really makes you step back and look at it in a different manner. But I got away from that. So I think when life gets really good and a lot of good things are happening, I feel like it's just easy to take that for granted and to be this is awesome, but not to actually process it.
Yeah. I was on a kick with a 5-minute journal, and I still have it, but it's just, it goes ups and downs of me getting into the routine of it because that's the first thing to go.
Yeah, in fact, studies have found that a single act of thoughtful gratitude produces an immediate 10% increase in happiness and a 35% reduction in depressive symptoms. These effects disappeared within 3 to 6 months, which reminds us to practice gratitude over and over.
Yeah, which is crazy. Something so small
can make such a large impact on your life, yet we're sitting here talking about this and I'm not doing it, and it sure would benefit me to start doing it.
Yeah. Well, and we have this week. We've learned this week of just being grateful
Yeah.
for our community, what we're building, putting ourselves out there, and just learning that it comes with its challenges, but we're okay with that.
I think practicing those grateful thoughts, like what you were just mentioning, I think that goes in hand with what we were talking about in another episode about changing your thoughts to positive ones. Like, you know, if you're in a depressive state or you're just feeling negative about life, but if you kind of change your thoughts and say like, oh, like I was just touching on earlier, oh, I have to go to work today. Changing that thought and saying like, I get to go to work today. I have a job. Just looking at it from a different light, from a more perspective or positive perspective. And I think that can change
I think that is
your whole outlook.
huge. Yeah. And actually, there was this moment a couple years ago at this point, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So I have a little story on gratitude that I'd like to share that you guys haven't heard before.
Ooh.
I know. And it's a little emotional based, but those are the best ones. I think everything emotional kind of gets you where it gets you in the heart, essentially.
Yes.
Okay, so my mom and I were in Arizona visiting my brother and his family, my niece and nephew. And for whatever reason, it must have been a Saturday. Nick and Noe, my brother and sister-in-law, they were at work, and so we had the kids. And so we were like, where can we take them where we don't have to, where they can just run, essentially. And so we went to this Chuck E. Cheese wannabe place. Like, it's like half the size of Chuck E. Cheese. It was a Peter Piper pickle pizza place. That's literally what it's called. I have no idea. Anyway, we got a card and they were just swiping away on all the games and they just had free run of the place. It was easy and that's where we went. That's where we spent the day. So we were playing games and we were at this claw machine where you got these little balls with the spikes on them. Mm-hmm. And through the corner of my eye, I see a little girl, probably Nathan's age, maybe 5 or 6 at the time. And it looked like her grandma came in. And it wasn't a busy place. It was probably only us, them who just came in, and maybe another family. And so it was noticeable that another person was there. So we were at the claw machine, and it was to get these little balls with the spikes on them. And through the corner of my eye, I see another girl come in who's Nathan, my nephew's age, maybe 6 years old, and who looked like grandma. And we were playing the claw machine. She eventually comes up, kind of stands by us, and she was really shy. And we had been there for quite a while. And so I was like, hey, do you want to take a turn on the claw machine? You know, we'll go somewhere else to let her have a turn. And so we went to another game. She plays on the claw machine. We go somewhere else. A couple minutes later, I look over to see if she's still there. And she was, and she hadn't gotten a ball yet. So I went over there and I said, oh, would you like me to help you get a ball? Just being nice. And she was like, yeah, like if you would. And she nodded politely. She really didn't say too much, but she was very timid. And so I helped her get a ball. And I helped her. We got like 2 balls for her or something. And then I went away. She went back to her, who I presumed grandma, and no big deal, right? I thought I did a good deed of just helping a little girl or something. Well, a minute later, who I presumed was the grandma came up to me and my mom and my niece and nephew, and she asked me, was I the person who gave her the ball? And I could tell it was just in the tone of her voice, like very serious. And so I nodded, and she was like, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that meant because, and I get emotional, she said, I'm a caseworker. I had just picked her up from her house. Both of her parents are going to federal prison, and she's going into the foster care system. And I came here to bring her for the day, and you put a smile on her face. And it was so emotional, because here I thought I had just done something sweet, and yet you have no idea what people are going through. And it literally I've only told this story maybe twice or maybe once. And it makes me emotional every time because you have no idea what people are going through. And I just think back to that point, like, how grateful you are for everything you have in your life, and you think you're doing something kind for somebody else, and you have no idea how it's going to impact them.
Right. That's heavy.
And I'm like, my heart is racing right now, and I'm like, my tears are going. But I just think back to that point and just how grateful I was, and you never know what somebody else is going through.
I feel like that stems into something else too. It's like as a society, we need to be better about doing more things like that and trying to do like little things. Like, you had no idea that you would make such an impact on one person's day by helping a little girl get a ball out of a claw machine.
Literally. My heart is still
beautiful.
racing. It is beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. And I just, every once in a while, you'll think, where is she? And you have no idea. But for one day, you made somebody smile.
Mm-hmm.
And on the day, too, that they picked her up from her parents' house. Like the day that she was going into foster care. So probably one of the heaviest days of her life.
Yeah.
And you put a smile on her face.
Yeah. It was amazing.
It's so true, though, that you have no idea what people are going through. No idea whatsoever. And so to just be nice to people. Or I love the idea of just complimenting one person every day. Like, I'm so guilty of it. I'll go through the grocery store or whatever, and I see someone, I'm like, oh, like, I love their shirt, or like, oh, I love your nails, or like, she's pretty, something. I think it, but I don't say it. I just don't think about doing it. But then the times that I do, it's like people light up, and you have no idea. What if they're having like one of the worst days of their lives? But then you make them smile for just a second. And it's just the small things, like being grateful for that. Or like, I went to the grocery store like 2 weeks ago, and the cashier, she was like, I love your outfit. You just look so well put together. It just like made my day. For like an hour, I was just like, wow. It was just incredible. It's small things like that.
Isn't it the smallest things of basic humanity? Just giving somebody a compliment, practicing gratitude could be the easiest thing of just waking up. I'm so excited to start the day, or I'm so grateful for having a job, or for blah, 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 having a car. The simplest things in life that can make the biggest difference, and yet we don't do that every day.
Right.
That's why I think practicing gratitude, it doesn't have to be complicated. No. Like I was saying earlier too, like I was like, wow, I have a job. Just like broad things like that. You don't have to go into like, oh, I'm grateful for this that happened today and blah, blah, blah. Just simplify it and say, I have a house, I have food, I have a job, I'm rich.
Yeah. Right.
Like those are the things that make you rich, not money.
Yeah. And then just doing more to step out of your comfort zone a little bit and make somebody else feel better. Like once a day, compliment somebody. Step outside of your comfort zone at the same time, and say something.
Yeah.
Right.
It raises your frequency too. I've read studies on that. Because if you're thinking positivity, if you're giving somebody else a compliment, you're also most likely thinking of positive things, because you saying something positive to somebody else, well, you are thinking something positive within you as well. So it's good for everybody.
Right.
It's good for the entire, humanity. Just be nice.
Right. It's like giving gifts. Like me, I benefit when I give people gifts because it makes me so happy, but I know it makes them happy. So I'm like, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To kind of touch off your story about being grateful for things, whenever, there's something that might just happen in your life to make it forces you into gratitude. So last summer, my dad, he was diagnosed with cancer. And in that moment, he said it's just like your life flashes before your eyes in a sense. And he was like, I always took my health for granted. And so it almost forces you into that position, like forces your hand of like, oh, I'm not healthy anymore. I don't have my health. Now my body's like, riddled with this cancer. And it just kind of makes you step back and think like, oh my God, like all those years I was healthy, I wasn't grateful for it. But now that it's too late, I have to think about the past.
And that's what he's thinking of, let alone you, because I can't even imagine what I would feel of how many times where I could have picked up the phone and called them, or saying I love you, or getting dinner with them, like parents or any family or friend that you're really close to, how much we take things for granted.
Right. It's like if somebody suddenly passes away, and then it's that thought too of like, oh, I should have called them, I should have done this, all that stuff, or I wasn't grateful enough for their presence. Luckily, my dad beat cancer, but in that same moment too, you hear stage 4 and like your mind starts racing like, oh my God, and like I should have done this, and we should have lived life more fully. And yeah, I don't know. It's just life.
I'm like tingling. I'm like, I'm in my feels right now.
My chest, I can feel my chest like getting warm.
Yeah, I can see it getting warm.
Yeah, because whenever
This is heavy.
Yeah,
This is heavy
they're
things.
very emotional topics.
Yeah.
But like I said, it just not waiting until the point to where life forces you to be grateful and just practicing it every single day before something bad does happen. Then, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words.
That's a lot. So hopefully you listening, just think of something grateful for today. Think of who you can call, spend more times with loved ones.
Something you can do for somebody else that makes them feel appreciated and happy to be where they're at.
Yeah. You have no idea how much the comments that we've gotten meant to us. I know we kind of put it on our story. I was literally almost in tears just because you don't know what other people are feeling.
Mm-hmm. And just a simple, like, you know, you guys sharing it to your story, like, it's just such a simple thing, but it meant so much to us. And we were on a high all day. And thank God that we have flexible jobs, because we were just on our phone all morning, like, oh my God, just like texting and like, did you see that and this? And it was just, it was incredible. I feel like I blacked out.
I know. Because people don't understand how hard it is to put yourself out there. And we still want to be more on our stories and engaging with you guys. But, it's hard. It's very challenging. It's so scary.
Yeah, it's a bridge we're walking over right now.
Yeah.
Hoping to start jogging eventually.
Yes. Running, sprinting.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, because I love that quote too, like, if you're in your head, you're dead.
I love that.
That's what just literally we were just talking about of what we want our page to be. Because we say it's a podcast, but it's not. It's a brand. We just have a podcast, a part of our brand. And so we're like, no, we need to start sharing day in the lives of each of us on our page, because we want to promote everything we do. All of us, because we all have our own individual personalities, and to not be scared of, should we post this? Should we not do this? Like, we're in our heads. No, just post it all.
Life's too short.
Life's too short.
I just captioned that, my get ready with me on my Instagram. I was like, life's too short not to post your silly little videos, because nobody really cares that much.
Right.
And yeah, like you said, if you're in your head, then you're not going to do it. But if you just don't think about it, just do it. And so what's one thing that you guys can implement every single day to strengthen your practice of gratitude?
I'm going to get back on the 5-minute journal kick, because it literally sits on my bedside table. And I just, every morning, if you wake up late, first thing out the door, like, I don't have time. But it literally takes less than 5 minutes to fill out. And otherwise, I'm on my phone, on social media, which can go. So I'm going to do the 5-minute journal. I love that.
I think the 5-minute journal really touches on everything that is gratitude itself.
I agree.
But because it has you highlight your day of, like, you know, what are 3 things that happen that are amazing, and like, what are 3 things you're grateful for. So I love that. I
like having it because you have the morning, but then you also have a little nighttime reflection at the very bottom of, like, what are you grateful for, what happened today that you're grateful for. And I think that's nice to finish it off the day like that too, because you should start and finish your day with something gratitude related.
Right. I think I would like to start doing that too, but I might like put a different twist on it. And like every day, Andrew and I, Monday through Friday at least, wake up and we go to the gym. So I think on the way to the gym, we could start implementing that and just talking about it in person and then saying it out loud.
I love that. I think that's an amazing thing for you.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. And then the more like, you know, the more things you say out loud too, I just feel like it kind of boosts you to where you want to go.
And what a great way to strengthen your relationship.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's huge, actually. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I think that'll be really powerful, because I do agree with words. It's 10 times more powerful saying things out loud.
Right.
And then I think it'll strengthen your marriage.
For sure. And I would also, like we talked about, complimenting someone every day. I would really love to start doing that, even if it is just like a text message to somebody, letting them know that, hey, I saw this, keep kicking ass, or like, hey, I really appreciate you. doing more of that, and
I love
more
that.
to strangers too, because you're right that does feel just so good for me and for them.
Yeah. It's so scary, but then you say it and you're like, why was I scared to tell them I like their shirt?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
You'll say it in your head like 7 times, and then you won't do it.
I know.
But then you get the persona because you're looking at that person, and that person, they're not dumb. They see you looking at them, and they think you're judging them.
Right.
And you're like, actually, I just love your shirt, but they probably think you're a B for just staring at them.
I know for a fact I've thought that. And
I've done that so many times.
Yeah, someone's staring at me, and I'm like,
On both ends.
Can I help you?
Yeah, literally.
And then they're like, oh my gosh, I love your hair. And I'm like, shut up.
You're like, I'm such a jerk.
Oh, what about you though, Emily? What do you think you're going to start doing?
I'm going to put a little bit of a different twist on it. And I think I'm going to just get up and move my body every day because I'm so grateful that I am able to and stop thinking about it as a chore. Even though I will say I am pretty good about, getting up and exercising one way or another. However, on my rest days, I think I still should get up and move my body and just be grateful for it, stretch it out, take care of my body because I am so thankful for it and the health that I have, and practicing it that way. And almost doing like a little assessment when I wake up too. Like, I'm so grateful, like, I can do this. I can move my body. I can stretch and touch my toes and like little things like that.
Right. That's something we don't want to take for granted.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm going to do every day to
Movement is so important. I've noticed that specifically this week. I don't know what is happening, but come 3 o'clock, I can barely keep my eyes open, and I'll sit down because I'm on my computer or something. I'll put my computer down, and then I think, no, get your butt up, go for a walk, go take Bailey, my dog, for a walk. And the amount of energy I have after just a 20-30 minute walk down my street, and it's good for her too, of course, I feel so much more energized and productive. So I'm trying right now, if I get in a slump with work where I'm like rereading the same line 5 times and I don't know where to do, or I don't know, what's going to happen next or something, I'm having difficulty finishing a report or whatever, I just try to leave, go move my body, go for a walk, do something else, come back, and I'm way more productive.
I agree. And I think there's something to be said about that too, with like just getting your blood flowing. That's great for your brain too and your body, and just getting outside.
They say in the morning, the first thing you should do is go outside to like wake up your eyes and wake up everything, and then vitamin D, of course, which I'm super deficient in.
You
Aren't
want
we
like
all?
the sun on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should go for a walk in the morning. That's supposed to be the best thing. I'm working towards that, okay?
We all are.
We're not
Working
perfect.
towards that.
None of us are perfect.
But yeah, I think those are really good goals. And those are goals that we can actually implement, and we can talk. We were discussing this just a bit ago between all of us, that we're going to do weekly calls. I don't know what we actually decided, if it's multiple times a week, but of doing just calls in the morning while we're getting ready, just to kind of, hey, what are you guys doing today? What are you grateful for?
What are you going to accomplish today?
Yeah.
Or what do you want to accomplish?
Yeah.
And even following up in the evenings with a text of like, hey, did you do what you said you were going to do?
Yeah.
Or like, how did your day go?
Right.
Just checking in.
Right. Which is something that other people too can just start doing with their friends too. Sometimes you need somebody else to help keep you accountable, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's almost like a mental to-do list too.
Yeah.
You might not be, they're not going to, you're doing it for yourself. Like, I'm going to tell you about my day, but while I'm telling you about my day, I'm actually mentally thinking, okay, what do I need to do today? So it's beneficial for everybody as an accountability partner, but then you're kind of collecting your thoughts of what you actually need to do today. And we'd love to start doing lives on our Instagram or something. That way the community can be us, to where we're all in this together. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, I agree. And just starting out your day with a little bit of great gratitude, gratefulness.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're working towards it.
Yes, we are.
So hopefully after hearing some of our stories today, you can think about a couple things that you're grateful for. And maybe you got inspired about how you can implement gratitude into your mornings or just day-to-day life. And yeah, just plant the seed a little bit.
We hope you have a great Monday and a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
And we are so grateful for all of you guys for listening.
Yes, thank you so much. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.